We're 1 week into the Russian invasion of Ukraine. I'm going to be using this map on Wikipedia. It seems pretty accurate, though I have seen differing maps. This one seems to have the general gist and has a lot of information that some of the other maps don't provide. So I'll just go over my thoughts, what I've read, and what I think we'll see in the future. First, let's head over to the most important city, Kiev. I've definitely seen a lot of slowed progress in one day. Russia went from here to here and then has made effectively no more progress. This is largely done by the citizens and the soldiers, but you also have to give a round of applause for the Prime Minister for staying in the city and really boosting the morale of it and really rallying not only the country but Kiev to the defense of it. Over here you're seeing a lot of Russian forces go here. They're definitely expected to go past here by now. You also see these forces are moving towards Kiev, but also just trying to encircle this area, because I think these forces were most likely supposed to be going through here already to here, and these forces were going over there. This is also why you see this guy not trying to completely encircle it moving, but they're desperately trying to get more progress on the city, so they'll let this force go over here. I'm not sure how moves like this are a little dangerous depending on what their supply lines are and what aerial control they have, because you could definitely see resistance movements hitting their supply lines, and that's one problem you've seen a lot of the Russians having is supply issues. Over here we see the city of Sumy, which has held a great deal, being pretty close to the Russian border. It has done a great job in defending itself. It's also why you see the forces going around here instead of going Sumy then here. This definitely expecting Sumy to have fallen sooner and then progressing downward. Now we head even further. Here we have Kharkiv, another one of the major cities. The city has done a great job holding out, being under siege since the beginning of the war. You're seeing Russian movements here and here, as these are most likely just trying to get to their objectives, because I don't think they were expecting to see such stiff resistance. You can see the road network here, Kharkiv to here, then downward, reconnect with their separatist forces there. Instead, they're going around here to there, and then this will probably go here to connecting these trade routes. This troop movement's most likely going to head up, reconnect here, isolate this area. Same thing here, cut them off from supplies, so that eventually areas here to just completely fold easily. This area, along with this area, once I don't know how to say that city, Chavina, or whatever, how you say that city, is fallen, you're going to see these areas just be quite easily mopped up. Down south, we see not a lot of movement. We've seen a lot more movement here, but even at the beginning, we're not seeing much. This is largely due to Ukrainian forces already being dug in and established here, so you're not going to, movement here is not going to be easy. But you have seen some movement here and here. These forces trying to connect up here, and these forces going down here. These movements are just trying to connect the separatist area to the Russian movements north and south. Heading down here, we see Matropol, another city I don't know how to say the name of, which has been under siege. Quite impressive its defense, though I definitely see it falling within a day, maybe two. Keep heading south. Another city has fallen. Expanding up, though this river thing will serve as a natural border, so you're not going to see much expansion here. They'll have to go here, then up, or here and around. Expect a siege there in a day, maybe two, depending on how fast they can move up here, though I definitely see that within the next day, or probably in the next day, though they'll definitely be under siege by next week. Russian forces are moving up here. Kherson, the most important change that is recent, has fallen into Russians' hands. The one interesting thing is before the fall of the city, you saw Russian troops move past the city trying to bypass it. This is generally not recommended, as it could lead to your supply lines getting cut if Kherson forces are able to break the siege and then cut off supply lines, so the forces moving up here would have to double back to reconnect their supply lines or risk just running out of resources. that they could be potentially, due to Russian naval superiority, resupplied here if they could take this city. Or you could do a Berlin airlift type situation, though that would not be that effective in resupplying them, especially if it's a large amount of it and if you're having to give oil to tanks and AFVs. Once the city, you're definitely going to see movement. You see this little road, follow down here. There'll probably a big battle along here, along this river. Bam, and then you'll hit Odessa, cut this area off, and then you'll have the lower chunk of Ukraine severed and will soon fall. Now let's go into some predictions. I see them reaching Odessa probably 3 days. I think it's possible to be there in 3 days, though it will be entirely dependent on what kind of defense, because you're going to see a defense here because they have a nice river. There's going to be limited movement over here, so you're definitely going to see an attack there. Once Russian troops are here, you'll see a landing like you saw here, because they just need to establish themselves. Then they can land on the other side and move up and pressure it from both sides. Don't know how long the city will last. It's too early to say, but we'll see once that city reaches being sieged. Let's head back up north. Already said you'll probably last a day, maybe two. Up at Kharkiv, you'll see that city last for a few weeks. Most likely 2.5. The big problem is that it's going to slowly be completely surrounded. There's not a lot of other main choke points, so once they get through here, Russian forces can go there, and then they're completely surrounded. And it's starting to be pretty distant here. The city will fall once this area has been covered. Don't know how long Sumy will last, so you should expect a lot of attack there, just so they don't have this pocket of resistance just random in their thing. Heading down to Kiev, the most important city. That city will definitely last at least a month and a half. The stiff resistance by the Prime Minister, especially the citizens, is going to make that city very hard to deal with. Big problem is its population. Russia doesn't have enough troops to truly protect the city. Even if they had all of their active personnel there, they would still be outnumbered, I think 1 to 4, which they're not going to have all their troops, and it's a high urban, so they're going to see a lot of resistance. So you're going to see a long time before the city is truly taken, and an even longer time before the city is truly pacified enough where you can keep expanding safely. Down here, you also saw the first Ukrainian advance. They're pushing down here into this area. This is a good time to talk about. This area has a stronger relationship with Russia. That's why you see the separatists. So you see in these areas closer to Russia, stronger the relationship, and the inverse over here. So once the war comes over here, you're going to see an even stronger Ukrainian identity, and you're seeing an incredibly strong Ukrainian and national spirit, especially shown here. And most importantly, the best one is by Snake Island. The defenders there, if you don't know, facing certain death, definitely gave the Russians some headaches. Though it was believed they were all died, it's actually been confirmed that they are POWs, most likely heading into Sevastopol or areas down here, since they can just ship them over boats. You could definitely see a naval invasion over here, though I don't know what Russia's naval invasional capabilities are. They already tried one here and didn't see much progress after the invasion, because that city is still holding out. Now let's just go into a general thing. Russians have definitely gone a lot slower than they expected, even the West expected. One big thing is air superiority. They don't have a good amount of air superiority, but they do have much more than you would have thought at this point, which has been great for the defenders, because like that 40-mile convoy up here, that's actually been able to be hit because they still have some level of it. They can still get fighters up here to hit that stuff and then return safely before getting picked out of the sky. So that's one of the big things in the donations. You're seeing a lot of anti-tank ones, which is really good, because that'll stop the strong Russian land forces. Additionally, one of the things I think the Russians weren't expecting is how little the Ukrainians have fought them in open areas. I don't believe the Russians thought they would face them nearly as much in just the pure cities and focus more on trying to keep the battle away from them. But the Ukrainians have decided to make the sacrifice of fighting in the cities where infrastructure and civilians are more at risk for the advantage of fighting in the defensive area, which is why you're seeing a lot more heavy equipment, more equipment for sieges over fast, though additionally fast one stuff moves quickly. All the fast stuff just got bogged down, and so I think they were expecting a fast attack some Ukrainian defense here and then try to speed through here before they can reestablish them here. But instead of defending here, they moved on here and got established here, and were not expecting it. So their light fast stuff was not prepared for that, which is leading to a problem. That's why you're seeing the large convoys. Additionally, the other problem that they're having is supplies. The video of a Russian, I believe it was an AFE, where they're trying to ask for the Ukrainians for oil or gas or whatever they need, which is not good when you're a country with like the most gas or oil reserves in the world. So actually, I'm not sure if they're the most. They're up there though. So that's not a good situation, and the supply line issues are going to extend worse and harder, and it's going to be more difficult as they expand this way because they're not going to be connected to the already established pipelines, and you're seeing a lot of infrastructure damage, not only by the Russians and their attacks, but by the Ukrainians blowing up bridges, all that stuff to just slow down the advancements. That's one of the things I thought they should have done. There's a bridge over here that the Russians had used to bypass it. I think they should have just blown up the bridge, forced the engagement at Kherson, and this would have bought the city more time. Though I think the destruction of the bridge would definitely be tragic for them. I think that would have been a better tactical decision, though they might have just lacked time to. Now let's go. I think the war probably end before the end of July, but I think it will last through July. I'm pretty pessimistic about it, though I had not expected the war. Russia is just a very strong land-based power, and they're fighting a largely land war, so I'm pretty pessimistic about it, but I would not be surprised if the Ukrainians surprised me. So we'll have to see. So thank you to all the Ukrainians who are fighting to protect freedom, and it is important that the West, NATO, and all of them support them with supplies and sanctions and all that stuff to put pressure on Russia, because clearly the war is not popular. That's shown by all the protests. So it is important that the West, NATO, supports Ukraine as much as it can, and hopefully we can avoid like a total nuclear war. That would be pretty good.